Hi guys, it's Danny again. Now I received a lot of questions from you guys asking that how do I evaluate my project and how do what kind of criteria that I actually looking for when it comes to property investment. Now today I'm going to share with you my way of looking into properties. Hi guys, today I'm going to share with you the how to evaluate the property for investment. There are few things that usually how I look into the project and how I look into the property prior to making an investment. Now there are three things that I really look into. The bare minimum. The first one is the location. Now the location is a mantra we have been talking many times, and even the map maker Ho Chin Sun always stress on the location itself. Now why the location is important is because the location is gives you your property. You can upgrade it. You can do many things like makeover to add value. But then again, the location itself is constant, which you cannot change once you invest it into it. And also some location that will tend to have supply and demand issues. So you have to make sure that you really choose the right location for your property, because a very good location, they will have things that you bring up the price of the property. For example, any of the boom factor to it. Now second to this is infrastructure. Why infrastructure is important? Because infrastructure will give accessibility to your location. Now if you have a very good location but let's, for example, we make it exaggerate a little bit. You have a very good location, but it's inaccessible. People cannot access to the location. There's no point. So you have to write on the infrastructure. What kind of infrastructure we are talking about? Basically, we are talking about the highways. We are talking about the public transport. We are talking about the light rail transit, LRT, MRT, all these things are part of the infrastructure. And the last one, some people not talk about this, but like it or not, is population. Now population is important because these are the people that will actually rent the property from you. They will buy property from you. They are the customer. Okay, they are the end user. So population is very important when it comes to your property investment. Now if we know that location very important, but if you look into the combination of if you have a location and you have any infrastructure, you can and then along with population, this is the ultimate the bare minimum when it comes to determining your property investment. Now if you have a location with infrastructure, normally you can demand higher price for it. Now what we can see from here is that in KL we will have many projects running these few years, and they are normally with the terms of TOD. Now what is TOD? TOD is basically a transit oriented development where the property or the project itself is really close to the infrastructure, and also it's not too far from the major highways. Okay, so this kind of property normally they will demand a premium for it. So if you buy the project with the very good location and also supported by the infrastructure, the price tend to be higher. Now the next one is if you have a very good location and you have a population, now give you rentals. Now what is rentals? Because it's all down to supply and demand. Now when you have very good location and you have limited supply, but you have a high population, that gives you high demand, and that's where it's gonna give you a very good rentals. Now the last one is if you have a place where you have infrastructure and you have a lot of highways, LRTs, everything's there, and then you have a population there, you will tend to have higher occupancy for your project or for your property. Why is that? Now we have to think from the perspective of the end user. Now if we were to say that in an area, for example, just simply pick an area, we're gonna pick in Sungai Buloh maybe, and against Coalfield, okay, so the population, the occupancy around Sungai Buloh will tend to be higher than Coalfield. Reason being because the Sungai Buloh has a MRT station there. So if we were to pay for the same rental, where would you stay for the same rental? In Coalfield, you're paying for 1,500 per month, or maybe it's too much. Maybe you're paying for 1,001 per month, but then again, you're paying the same rent in Sungai Buloh, which is closer to the MRT station. Where would you stay? So most of the people, they would tend to stay nearer to the station. This is reason why it would drive the occupancy higher. Okay, unless if you talk about the rental in Sungai Buloh is like going for certain specific projects going for 1,007 per month, then most probably people will tend to stay further. This is something because of the cap to the income to do with the income level. It's not affordable anymore, and therefore this will turn from positive into negative because of the price is too high. In this case, people tend to choose to try stay further a little bit from the station, but not too near. So, but in the event that the rental is just right for most of the people to rent, and therefore the occupancy will always be high. Now, these are the three things that usually I look into it. And if you have three things together, if your property is in the location, with the infrastructure, with high population, now your property will unlikely to fail. But there are many factors to play. But ideally, if you have these three, your property will tend to be relatively safe. Now, in this model, I call it the property circle. This is the model that I tend to use prior to do my research. These are the things that I will look into it every time before I proceed to the next step in determining my investment property. I hope you guys learned something from this. Now, there's only to recap, there's only three things whenever I look into the properties. The first one is the location, the second one is the infrastructure, the third one is population. Now, beside anything else, this three is a must, at least. Now, before I go any further into the research part, now these things are the three main key things that I really look into before I drill deeper into my research. I hope you guys learned something. I'll see you again next time. Ciao.